Welcome everyone to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 50, and this is Altai, joined by
Omer,
Gumbo,
Matt.
We are one down this week.
One down, boys.
Yep, Shu cannot make it. She probably slept in, right? Or is there a reason?
Bit of slept in and things going on, so
All right.
she's out for the week. And before we want to get to the weekly raid, we want to say we are going to be rescheduling the podcast for future episodes, so it'll be 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is why you see it in the background. And the logic behind that is it's a little too early for us, and it's probably early for everybody else too, considering a lot of people are going to work and school. So we're going to be doing it a little bit later in the day. So that's for future podcasts.
Yep. Since we
And
started
also,
doing this live on
they
Twitch, yeah, the timing has been bad for a lot of you.
all of us.
And also,
Everybody.
since it's not
Everyone.
mentioned in the background, it will be every day.
Yes. And of course, before we start the blame game, I'm pretty sure this is all Gumby's fault. All right, that we started.
You know, I think Omer is a master at misdirection, or he would be if he didn't get caught every time. Since we all know that this was all Omer's fault months and months ago.
Yeah, we all know, though, that the real fault does lie with Gumby. As the editor, he forced us to do it every day.
Yes, Gumby is the editor of MMOs.com. Okay, at the end of the day, he's got the final pen. All right.
He's forcing
The
us to
pen
do
is
this every
mightier
day.
than the cam.
Help!
Ooh, a hand is mightier than the sword. I like it. Well, the pen, not the hand. And before we get to weekly raid, one last thing. We're doing a giveaway on MMOs.com. So if you guys want a chance to win a free mouse, free Death Adder Chroma, just enter. It's about 75 people entered so far, so your odds of winning are about 1 in 75. It's not bad. Sterling is an awesome mouse, and I'm using it right now, if you can see.
I
I've
am
been using
too.
this mouse forever. This is how you get good at games, guys. You need a good mouse, all right?
You also download hentai faster when you use that mouse.
You
Yeah,
do.
so-
It just smooths the download button. You know, there's no misclicks on the ads. You know, because
You know what? I think the real question though is how does it handle grease? You know, does that grease come right off when you go to clean it, or very
it
important when it comes to a
off.
mouse?
I
Comes
feel
off?
this mouse is really clean right now, and my mice usually gets very grimy. So this
fair
has been
enough,
holding
fair
up pretty well.
Yeah, that's the thing with what every gamer needs to know. Like, you know, I don't even eat chips when I'm on my computer now. I don't want that grease all over the
Okay,
place.
see, I've got a bigger problem than grease. Like, the grip on my mouse around where my fingers sit on both of the mouse buttons has, like, completely worn off, and it's completely smooth there.
Yo, do
That's
you guys
getting
remember
good
the
value,
good old
though.
days with the ball mice, and then every once in a while you had to take the ball out and like scrape the the fuzz?
Oh my god, good times, boys. I remember, like, you play Counter-Strike, you just can't play because it just gets stuck, and it's the worst.
I don't know how we ever played first-person shooters with ball mice. That was terrible. Like,
The good
Remember when
old
we played
days.
FPSs in school? One kid, he went around and he took all the balls out of the mice when we started, just so he could be better than everyone else.
I actually never had that happen.
Yeah, he was an asshole. Everyone always stole the computer equipment at school. I think that's why they started locking it up.
And that's pretty crazy because this happened in like a pretty like rich white suburban neighborhood. Like imagine what happens in inner city schools. Like the monitors are gone, the computer desks are gone.
Anyway, we're moving on. We're gonna go right to the weekly raid. We're gonna start off with this week's raid, because everything was kind of covered. But this week, if you guys haven't heard, there was an article on MMOG Fails, which is a blog website, and it really is about how much can you crack a game and whatnot. This guy, he writes articles, and he found out that Black Desert Online can be cracked pretty easily. A lot of the information is stored client-side, so a lot of people are apparently hacking and getting away with it. This all occurred on the Russian server. But I figured this week would be a good time to talk about our own experiences hacking and cheating in games. I know personally, when I was younger, I did quite a bit of cheating. And I can't program for shit, I only know HTML, so I would download cheats, which inevitably taught me how to reformat a computer many times, because they're always packaged with spyware. So my own story with cheating in games was Diablo 1, when I was in the 5th grade. There's a website called cowsforyou.net. And I downloaded hacks from there that let me alter all of the data on a server. So I could change other players' names, stats, I could make my own weapons. It was the craziest hack I ever saw in any game. It was awesome. I used to change other kids' names to Poopface69 and whatever. And just like, they're like some kids, they were like all decked out, max level, and I would just ruin their lives by being a little shit asshole. So, curious, I know everyone else here, I know Erhan and Omer have some hack stories, and Matt said he has his own, so figured we could do the round table and see what Chaz has to say.
I'm already take it off with the Maple Story because I'm playing a video right now.
All right, I was pretty hardcore with the Maple Story pre-Big Bang update, so it was really hard to level back then. So I was using a vac hack, And as Sean said, because I was a complete scrub, I couldn't make my own hacks, as most of us are complete scrubs because we can't make our own hacks. We just download other hacks on the internet. And of course, these hacks come with little surprises, but they steal your account, they have keyloggers, viruses, all that good stuff. But you know what? Doesn't matter. I got mesos, you know? You play the game, you get the hacks. Even if you're going to get, like, the consequences afterwards of being spyware up the ass, it's still worth it. So I had a pretty good vac hack, and you would have to hack in places you don't get reported, because you would get banned, so you'd have to find the most obscure places to get reported. And it wouldn't work on ranged enemies because they'd still like kill you for whatever reason. So you have to find the best spot to do it. I got my main account banned from hacking, unfortunately, and I got like level 75 or something on my main account back in pre-ban, which is pretty good, like 80, 75, 80ish. But it was like a 5-year ban, right? And I got my account unbanned relatively recently, so I was able to log back into my account just to see what like my character was about, even though level 85 or whatever didn't mean shit after the Big Bang update. But I hacked a lot in MapleStory. I would keep getting banned. I keep hacking anyway because it was a lot of fun. I hacked in Counter-Strike too, but that's I'll save that story for later.
I'll share that story. So, my brother and his friend came over, and one of them they were playing Counter-Strike together, right? So one of them had to use my account because you didn't have his with him or something. I don't know. So they're playing Counter-Strike. My brother's on his account. His friend's on my account. They're hacking, aim hacking or whatever. They get my account back banned.
Yeah, we did.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, we
I was like,
did.
what the heck?
Get wrecked. The thing is, it was literally the worst hack in the world, right? Most aim hacks, in order to tell somebody's aim hack, you have to spectate them, right? But the hack we used was literally the most ghetto hack in the world, to the point where in Counter-Strike 1.6, when you turn the hack on, your character is holding his gun, right? And he literally does this while he's moving. So it's so obvious you're hacking, because when somebody sees you doing this, it's a giveaway that you're hacking. Like, it just looks the most unnatural movement of just jagging up and down, like rubber banding up and down really quickly with your aim. So it was literally the stupidest hack, and we got caught after like 2 games because it was obvious. But it worked for those 2 games. We got banned very quickly.
Right?
Okay, so I've never actually hacked because I used to torrent a lot, basically, and I would not be surprised if everyone in my family's identity got stolen. Because on the family computer, I used to torrent so much, there was probably like too many viruses to name. But anyways, the one time that I downloaded like a hack or something, I got a virus, so I gave up. I was just like, I'm done.
That's when you reformat.
And then, but I did learn that like when he was like 13, I think, one of my brothers paid monthly for an aimbot, and I'm sitting there like, what? Why would you pay for that?
What? If it works, it's not bad, but that's pretty fine that you'd pay for a hack. I would never. I'd rather risk the spyware.
Now, here's a question for you guys. Do you put hacking and botting in the same category? Because I think they're distinct. I don't think botting is necessarily hacking.
Botting doesn't require you to hack anything. It's just
macros.
It's just like a.
How about this? Then botting is definitely under cheating.
Botting is harmless though. Who are you hurting when you bot? When you hack, you can literally ruin someone else's experience.
No, you're hurting the economy in the game. If you bot.
Yeah.
No, botting is cheating because you're not playing it as intended. That's the thing.
Right.
But
you're breaking the okay, I agree with Matt.
Fine. What if you play Smash Brothers and you're using wave dashing? You're not playing the game as intended. It's not cheating.
Well, exploiting is different than botting.
Yeah,
that's a third category.
Somebody said you're not playing the game as intended. That alone is not a problem.
Exploiting is strictly the developer's fault if they don't patch it.
Right. So my tiers are exploiting is the least bad, botting is second, and then hacking is like the worst because like you're changing like the variables and stuff.
But if exploiting can be pretty devastating to a game's economy, as we've learned from Neverwinter. If you guys remember when Neverwinter first launched from Perfect World, people could go into auction house, right? And that's where you bid like your premium currency for items. You could bid a negative amount, and then you just get that much money, which made no sense. It's like the stupidest hack in the world. The exploit in the world.
But still, that's their fault because they allowed that to happen.
It destroyed the game's economy. So it's still pretty bad.
But that's still different because the fault lies with them rather than with the player.
Okay, but then you could say botting is their fault for letting you get away with it, or like letting the anti-cheat engine not work.
There doesn't need to be an anti-cheat for botting because botting doesn't cheat. It doesn't modify anything. All it does is repeat inputs. That's why I'm saying it's not playing as intended, but it's not something that can be prevented without like what was it? I think Lucent Heart had that captcha that came up like every.
Yeah, but that's just frustrating. That's just annoying too. You don't want to burden your players with that, and I'm sure you can get around that too.
And I want to quickly bring up a positive of hacking and botting. I know a lot of people who are like in the computer science like industry now, right? Who got their start in programming and working with computers through downloading, tinkering with bots and hacks and things online like that. Like, so it really does open the creative juices for a lot of young people.
Absolutely.
Fun fact: a teenager once hacked Xbox Live and then got hired by Microsoft.
Yeah, I
Wow.
hear stories like that all the time.
One thing I want to point out though is as I've gotten older, now I have absolutely no desire to hack or cheat in any game. Number
I
one,
agree.
I'm too lazy. That's I think the big one. I'm just like really freaking lazy. And number two is it just lost its like whenever I hacked in a game, like I was hacking in Maple Story 2, it ultimately killed the game for me. I didn't have fun anymore because I was just cheating. And then in Diablo 3, I exploited to get epics in one of the patches, and I immediately lost interest in the game. So for me, like I became obsessed with how well I could cheat rather than playing the game, and then eventually the game loses its appeal
But
once
how well you
cheating
can
isn't
cheat
fun
is
anymore.
pretty fun too. Let's be
It
real.
is.
Like half the fun of
I think-
hacking was finding
It was
hacks
just
that
like
worked.
it was just like feeling like I was
Yeah.
getting beyond what the developers wanted me to do. It was like anarchy in the USA. I'm breaking the rules. It was fun. I'm breaking bottles in the streets.
I'm with you though. I don't even think about hacking anymore because.
No.
And most of the time when I hacked, it was never to ruin someone else's experience. Because that's
No.
pretty key. If you're hacking, okay, the one time I hacked at Counter-Strike, okay, I admit that was being a douchebag. But luckily, there was no ranked play back then. These are just random servers. I did it once, literally one day, and that was it. But I think if you're cheating in a game like Counter-Strike or League, you're just being an asshole, okay? If you're botting in a different game like WoW or Black Desert or something, honestly, who are you really hurting? If you're botting, you're kind of screwing the economy, but you're not really hurting anybody. So it shouldn't be allowed, obviously. But it's not that big of a deal. But when you
Well,
ruin
botting can hurt the economy. If you're botting and all you're doing is grinding and getting more stuff than somebody can
true.
conceivably get on their own.
But you can't stop botting. I'm at the point where like it doesn't even bother me anymore when other people bot because they're
I'm
gonna
not
do it
saying that you
anyway.
can stop it or that it bothers me.
It doesn't
It's just
bother
still-
you.
Ha!
That was good. This guy.
And I want to
Yeah,
bring up
but-
another point real quick with hacking. And this is the reason I
Yeah.
lost interest. For me, hacking, exploiting, scamming, botting was always about making money, like real life money. Like during middle school and high school, I actually made a decent, for a kid, income from MMORPGs. And a lot of that was by breaking the terms of service in one way or another, whether it's botting, hacking, or scamming.
Selling
It was mostly
accounts.
scamming.
Yeah. So
I used to make.
so there's less incentive for me to do it now because the money is trivial now. But as a kid, right, in middle school, it's $10 is even something, So that's a big incentive, I think, for a lot of, and I would argue for a lot of hackers today in MMORPGs, whether it's botters, hackers, whatever, a big incentive is money, not necessarily killing another player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So there it is.
I mean, and you would make a decent amount of money, especially when you're scamming. You could have done big time scams in games like EVE Online. There was articles in like the New York Times about big hustles in EVE Online where the guy who was scammed made like tens of thousands of dollars in one like hustle. He would loot like a guild, a corporation rather. In games like Ultima Online, which had really no rules, you could get away with hundreds, maybe like $1,000 in one scam at a time, and that would add up. I know Alta and I had like a couple big $1,000 scams back when we were like 15 playing Ultima Online. I mean, in our defense, scamming was perfectly allowed in the game. Like we asked the GM, "Can we do this?" and they said yes. So we were total douchebags back then. We made money in the game, but it was perfectly allowed.
So here's a question then for Matt. You're the BDO guy. What do you feel? How do you feel about games today designing the game around circumventing things like botting, where people can accumulate lots of gold and trade and stuff like that? But trade
I think it's
restrictions,
kinda-
money restrictions.
I think it's killing the games. Like
Yes.
I thought this like when it came out too, and I think I said it that I really hate that you can't work on large crafting projects with other players because you can't trade anything. I really hate that. I wish that like my girlfriend and I could have worked on making a boat together because like it is a lot of work for one person at the beginning of the game. Even just the raft is a huge
Plus
amount
the
of work.
mutual like goal together brings you guys. It makes it more fun to like have a mutual goal with your friend, but you can't because games like BDO, Trio of Savior, and Diablo 3 like they restrict trade, and it's so stupid.
And also, I mentioned it before, but like the hacking thing, knowing that it can be hacked as easily as using Cheat Engine, like I'm done with BDO. Like I haven't played it in a while because I've been busy with life and stuff. But I'm done. I can't do this. Like, I can't sit there and wonder if everyone that kills me is hacking, because in BDO and games like it, your health bars go up and down so often, it's so hard to tell what's actually going on. Like, when you read about why WoW hadn't come up as an esport, is because the health bars go up and down so often, it's hard to tell, like, what's going on or if something's a good play unless you have in deep knowledge of it.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
In BDO, it's kind of the same thing, and your health bars go up and down constantly, and you're sitting there, and if I have to sit there and wonder if the guy's health bar is going back up because he's hacking, it's going to kill the game for me one way or another. You know what I mean?
And quick injection here. It came out recently that BDO, they handle the health bars on the client side, which means you can change it on your end. It's not the server that's handling
health, mana, stamina, cooldowns, basically everything.
So that's a huge rookie mistake. Like, what were they thinking? Like, that is like, and this goes back to the whole, you know, B team, D team at these developers. You know, this is, you know, I middle schoolers aren't as stupid. Some of these decisions these companies are making, and same with that Neverwinter auction house. I mean, we're talking some basic level programming here that they fucked up on.
But very often, it's like the basic shit that goes under the radar, you know, in regards to Neverwinter exploit. But the worst part about the Neverwinter exploit was they had that same exact exploit in Star Trek Online like a month ago, right?
Yeah. And
once they fixed it there, they forgot that they didn't fix it in their new game, which was launching, which made no sense.
And this is not just isolated to like these smaller Korean companies. Even The Division, right, by Ubisoft, is having a similar problem with their with hackers.
Yeah, it's
too many things were handled client side. And
well, Division's a little different because it's not a traditional MMO. They probably offloaded the stuff to a different like area than most games would, because it is kind of it's structured differently. You can tell.
And I want to run you guys through the mechanics of hacking real quick, because because it's client side doesn't mean you can easily edit it, because the game has a built-in anti-cheat guard called Nginx guard or something. And the way that works is it prevents third-party programs from altering memory. So there is an anti-cheat engine built in. However, because it's client-side, so long as you can bypass that anti-cheat engine through a third-party program or another loop or an exploit, you can freely hack the game. So the only thing standing in your way is the anti-hack guard. Anti-hack guards are always just for client-side hacks. So if it was server-side, server-side variables, it's almost impossible to hack. So people do have bypass programs that you can get past them. There aren't too many public ones, but I'm sure if you dig around that, you can even find them today. The guy who wrote the article on MMOG fail, he was bragging how easy it was to hack in Black Desert Online, and he documented himself cheating in PvP, destroying everybody, and he's like, this game is the easiest MMORPG to hack in. So we'll see how it affects NA servers eventually, or if they can eventually fix it.
And I have a quick. I'll add a link to the bottom of this podcast, but there's a really nice GDC Vault talk on hacking in MMORPGs for. And I really recommend you guys watch it if you have any interest in this sort of thing. Maybe bookmark it for later, and I will post a link for you guys.
Good stuff.
Now we'll switch gears here. It's kind of related. A little update on Nostalrius.
Good, I wasn't mentioning that too.
Nostalrius.
Nostrils, right?
Yeah,
nostrils. There we go, nostrils. I got it.
Well, the company Nostalrius will be meeting with Blizzard. They had a little announcement. They basically said they're not going to be releasing the source code for the game.
They got a lot of hate for that.
They did, but it actually it does make sense. Which I know Matt can go into with a little bit more detail.
I don't think so. It doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing. I think that Nostalrius, the only goal they have is to preserve classic WoW. Okay, so the reason that they were originally going to release the source code was so that somebody else could preserve it in their stead, you know, because they can't, because they got a C&D. Now, because the best chance at preserving classic WoW is going to possibly come from Blizzard, they want to hold it as a bargaining chip that they didn't do this as a sign of like goodwill in their negotiations. Now, it sucks, and the chances of getting legacy WoW servers are still so low as far as we're aware that it's not even funny. So like, shit. It's just...
Right.
I don't know. They just don't want to like screw it up before it starts. Basically, is what
But-
I'm getting.
But here's the problem. And I think most people seem to understand that logic, but I think a lot of people are outraged because the people that worked on Nostalrius weren't the only ones that worked on it. This was a collaborative emulation project, okay? A lot of people pitched in their effort to make Nostalrius what it is, right? And they feel betrayed. Because there are people from the open source community that believe that the code they put in was always going to be public at one point.
That's
and all
true.
of a sudden, the people that have the code are like, nope, we're keeping it, our decision. And whether
Well-
it's for a good cause, like you said, again, they want to preserve vanilla WoW. The people that put the code in didn't sign up for that. They don't care about that.
Well,
They said our code should be public.
well, that's always a risk with this, and there's no contract, so it's super risky.
Okay,
So
of
it's
course,
like-
but that's why
and-
they were being assholes.
Okay, here's what happened.
They should understand that risk. But anyways, I think the real problem is by saying they're not going to release the source code now, they're probably never going to release the source code.
I agree. I know.
Well, that's
Even
a problem, yeah.
Even if Blizzard shuts them down completely in their meeting or meetings, we don't know yet. It's just the source code is never coming out anymore. It's gone.
it's not.
It's done for.
I mean, here's what happened.
It's-
I'll tell you guys what happened. Ready? Blizzard, when this whole thing got big, and they were supposed to meet with Blizzard, Blizzard told
PR
the
stuff.
team,
PR
the
stuff.
Australia's team, guess what? You're not releasing that source code, or we're going to come after you guys personally.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Or here's
That's
some
what I
money. Here's a
thought.
job at Blizzard, customer support, whatever.
Mhm.
So it's Blizzard basically blackmailing / bribing /
Yeah.
burying.
Keep in mind, that's your theory. We're theory crafting right
That's
now.
a theory, and you know what?
No, this is true.
I-
That's what happened. Until they
Truth,
prove
he
it
says.
otherwise. I think you guys are giving
Guilty
Blizzard too
until
much
proven
benefit of the
otherwise.
doubt. You know,
No.
you guys are being too nice to Blizzard.
No, here's what Blizzard did. This is a PR stunt. They have no intention of doing vanilla server, and
Yeah.
they saw how big the outrage was and how many signatures they got in that changed that whatever petition, right? They saw the outrage and they wanted to soothe it, and they did it by doing this PR stunt. And I think they went into it ready to say no to everything, and they wanted to not release the source code. And of course, I'm sure there was some.
There's no
some-
doubt in my mind they got browbeat. They got threatened, harassed, blackmailed by Blizzard.
Well, maybe
not to
Blizzard
release it.
said we'll drop all legal, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's just a CAD.
They want- they would-
They
the
didn't,
proper
they didn't
term
actually.
is
they
should
wouldn't
be
come after them
indemnified.
legally
Indemnified
if they
would be
didn't
proper
release the
term.
source code. That's what I think happened. I don't think they had to threaten them. They basically said, "Look, we'll drop any of our legal pursuits if you hold on to this, and then come to our office and we'll talk."
Like-
And I think you're right. Maybe they will offer them some kind of.
No, but
Compensation,
why would they
but-
offer them anything?
Which,
Guys,
speaking
this
of
is-
legal-
I know they don't have to.
lawsuits.
It's part of. But here's the thing: if they pacify the Nostalrius guys, the whole thing dies, right? Everything dies. So I think it's in Blizzard's best interest to pacify the team. Again, this is
Okay.
theory crafting.
Okay, speaking of legal pursuits, I thought about it, and I did think of a case in which they would have to protect their IP. Basically, so if they let this private server go, then they're basically letting the next private server that gets popular build a case for why they shouldn't be shut down.
No,
If that-
you're wrong. You're wrong. Because
What?
they
Wait,
could
wait.
grant this
Okay.
server a license.
No, but no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if they didn't grant them
Okay.
a license and they leave this one going, then the next one that comes up that they go after, they're giving them a case, basically.
Oh well, but they didn't do that. So.
But they didn't do that.
That's
But
Like
that
that.
is why that could be a precedent for shutting it down. And why would they give them a
Well-
license anyways?
But they
It's-
still lied. They said we thought about giving them a license, but then we didn't because of legal reasons. Legal moment. They didn't
They
explain
probably
why.
didn't do that. I accept that. They probably didn't
They
do
lied.
That, but
100% they lied.
You know what's fun
I
about
did
this
want
whole
to say
thing?
that they could be building a case for somebody else by not shutting them down. That was all I was saying.
Yeah,
I
yes.
do. I also want to point out that it's funny to me that the way this has all been timed, and I'm not saying that there's any intention behind the timing, but you know, Blizzard says we're inviting them to our office and we're gonna have a meeting, and then it's this at the same time as Blizzard pushes out Overwatch. So now Blizzard gets a lot of they're in everyone's good graces because Overwatch comes out and Overwatch is so great, blah blah blah. So
And then the
I think
movie-
this all gets swept under the rug, and we'll never hear about this beyond this one meeting, and it's just gonna be
I think,
pushed
I
off
think,
to the
I think you're
side.
on the money there.
And then the movie.
Yeah.
the movie.
And then Legion.
This worked in Blizzard's favor so well with their release schedule.
I will say this, guys. If you're still playing WoW or you're gonna go back with Legion, don't feel bad about hacking or botting anymore, because you should feel like Robin Hood.
Obligated.
You know, you're sticking it to the man. So go ahead
Take it
and
to the man.
go ahead and bot and hack and all that stuff in any Blizzard
Okay.
game.
I don't want to let this go because I want to mention it one more time. I do think the Nostalrius team let a lot of people down, and people are saying, "Oh, they betrayed us." I mean, in a way, they are correct because if it's the way I understand it, it was a collaborative emulation project where a lot of people contributed code. They were being assholes by rants keeping that code themselves. When people understood when they contribute code, it was going to be in public domain. And by that part is what really nags me.
They're not being assholes. Blizzard is.
Blizzard is the assholes. I agree. They're the ones.
Because imagine you're on an
potentially
Astralis
blackmailing
team and you want to release source code. You get a call from Blizzard saying, "We will personally ruin you with personal lawsuits if you release
Yeah,
code."
But we don't know that happened.
It
We don't know that
happened.
happened.
It
I put
happened.
that in
Until they prove otherwise, it happened. But that's assumption.
Okay,
Well,
imagine.
that could have happened, or the Nostalrius guys could be being completely disingenuous and have actually just kept it to themselves as a bargaining chip. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that too. I don't think the Nostalgia team had any bad intentions. I mean, I think they did keep it. They did say we're not going to release it because probably what Blizzard said. Listen, we'll talk to you. However, you have to promise not to release the source code, and then that was their initiative to say we're not going to release the source code.
I want to bring something up real quick here that was brought up in chat by Snub here. WoWscape, which was another private server, right? Was sued by Blizzard for $89 million.
Oh my god!
I have it right here.
But there's no way they're going to pay
that's
that.
different. WoWscape, they charged a lot of money.
Okay,
They
I
charged
understand
a
that,
lot
but
of
the point
money.
is that Blizzard sued another private server. What's stopping Blizzard? This is for Erhan's point from getting on the phone and saying, "Hey, remember WoWscape? You want to be the next WoWscape?
Exactly.
You got $89 million on
Here's
you.
why.
That's right.
Here's
I, mean,
why.
I would cave if they
Shut the
threatened to
hell
take
up.
everything from me. You know, even if they have no case, the lawsuits alone will just ruin you.
It would ruin your life. You'd be
guys.
in court paying litigation fees for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, here's the thing, though.
What thing?
We talked about this a lot last week. I would like to move to a new topic.
No.
fair.
Let's not.
I gotta mention one more thing too, because look, WoW private servers are not dead. Look at WoW Warmain. This is probably one of the biggest private servers. Look how many players are online for a moment.
I don't
Motor
know,
on.
man. I've heard Warmain fakes their stats.
I've heard that too, but people are saying that's not true. Anyway,
But people are also saying
online.
it's true, so therefore it is true and guilty until proven innocent. That's their own-
Assuming their data is correct, 25,000 concurrent players is bigger than Nostalrius had. But here's the beauty: Warmain is located in Russia, so when they get a cease and desist letter, you know what they say? They give Blizzard a big fu. All right.
Putin doesn't cave to Blizzard.
Putin does not care. Yeah, exactly. I think for future projects like Nostalrius, developers need to realize that they will be pressured by big companies. So the only way to prevent that is if they're offshore. So if you live in Europe, you live in America, it's very difficult to run a private server. But if you get your friend in Russia to host it for you and he's the name behind it, I think you're
Hells
okay.
yeah, go to Russia. Putin doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Also, the thing is, there's still no legal precedence. Like, the recent thing with EFF is that people are now allowed to circumvent DRMs that use a server, basically. That's it. They're not allowed to host private servers yet. There's literally no legal precedence for it.
That makes
which is why it's so difficult.
Well, Blizzard, you guys suck for...
Now, speaking
Playing
of
that
Blizzard
Nostalrius.
sucking, speaking of Blizzard being money-hungry pieces of shit who crush the little man for their own pursuits, let's talk about
Crush.
Overwatch.
Overwatch is awesome.
Overwatch is fantastic.
Overwatch is fun.
It's so charming, and it's so pretty, and it's just smooth and fun. But fuck you, Blizzard. But anyway, Overwatch is a great game.
Overwatch
We're having
kinda-
fun.
You all played it
Overwatch
except me,
kinda
right?
lulls
On
you into this
MMOs
false
channel.
sense of security. I don't know what it is. It lulls you into this false sense of security right before you get crushed.
It's very charming. I think Sean said that before, but it's...
I can't stop saying it.
the
That is
environment.
Overwatch's biggest point. Like even if the game, even if I didn't like playing the game, I couldn't help but admit that like the way the maps are designed and just the characters and the entire layout is so unapologetically charming through and through. What I mean by that is just like it's almost like Pixar went and made a game. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody who worked on this had previously been at Pixar. It's just it feels like a game.
I have a question.
Here's the super weird thing about it, though. It doesn't feel like a Blizzard game, though. At all. It just feels like it has their signature polish, but it doesn't feel like any game they've done before.
Because it's an FPS.
They've broadened their horizon. Yeah, Blizzard, I guess, really hasn't.
So you three played Overwatch. I haven't played it
Yes.
yet. And for those listening, there's an open beta, which is free, starting May 5th and going till 9th. To play now, before May 5th, you do need a key from a friend who bought the game. And I have a quick question about the gameplay since I haven't played it.
Sure.
Does
Alright.
it feel like something like Halo where you can kill someone really quick, or does it feel like
No.
something like Gigantic where like there's a health bar and you really got to unload skills in them and like bullets for a while?
No, they
Well,
die quick.
They die quick. It's a bit of both. They die quick, but
yeah.
it's not like Counter Strike. So it's Counter Strike. You die in one hit with a headshot.
What about
Here,
like Halo?
Yeah, it is May 4th
Halo
at 4
Counter-Strike.
p.m. Pacific.
Halo and Counter Strike.
So between
Halo,
those.
you don't die instantly either because you got that shield.
Right, but you know what I'm saying? Like somebody can style you real quick.
Here's the thing, yeah, if you get caught unawares and you don't have your skills up or something, you don't know how to react, you're attacked by like because there's different types of classes. If you're attacked by like the main soldier guy, he can chomp you down in a second. You know,
There are characters like with like Reinhardt, which are just super tanky, which you can't like two guys
Right.
can't kill him right away. So like it depends what character you have, because if you're playing a Tracer, which is there was a whole booty controversy, one grenade to her face, insta kill, all right, or like a couple of well aimed shots, insta kill.
Oh
But
my god,
something-
that guy that turns into the exploding wheel and took out the entire team in
Yeah.
like one hit. Holy shit, that guy.
You mean
There's
the
something
guy
we should
that
point out in
someone's random?
Overwatch that we haven't brought up, right? Overwatch is not like a traditional FPS. You know, there's class roles. There's 4 types of class roles. You know, there's the tank, offense, support, healers, and you know, a well-established team of 6 is going to have
5
a
if you
mix.
count the builder.
Yeah, and builders. So that a well-established team of 6 is going to work together, and they're going to fulfill each of those class roles.
So is that
And,
is that
you know,
team
having-
size 6?
Yeah,
Yeah, team
66.
size is 6.
That's strange.
And the way it works is there are 2 types of game modes right now, and I think that's going to hurt the game long term if they don't add more. One is like a Team Fortress 2, you escort a vehicle to a certain
Payload.
point, and the other is more like Paladins, I guess, where you have to control a base point. One team defends the
King of
base
the
point,
hill.
and the team
It's
attacks.
King of the hill. Come on,
King of the Hill, right?
let's say what it is. All right.
And I think that's the biggest drawback to Overwatch is for all its charm and its polish and also the characters. There's a ton of variety. Is that the game modes are limited, right? And these maps are basically hallways. The 2 teams clash in the middle with some alternate routes.
They're hallways with alternate routes. That's a good way to look at it.
They're,
But
they're going to need Blizzard. They're going to need more variety in the types of games. I just think that
the
it's going
map
to get.
design. I think the thing with the map design, it takes a lot from MOBAs.
yeah,
How does it compare
It
to
feels-
Paladins? The gameplay.
it feels smoother and it feels nicer on the hand, nicer
Far
on the
more
keyboard.
congested
all right?
than Paladins too. Again, it's hallways. Paladins had a much more open
Yeah.
environment going for it, where there was less cover, and you could get caught out in the middle. Whereas Overwatch, you're in these very congested environments. You know, you're in a town, you're at like a quarry, and there's rock ledges everywhere, and there's corners, and you can really get caught unawares and get taken out. But it's all about sticking together. That's the thing. Like having a solid team is key to winning in that game. And I think we noticed there are players who played closed beta together, and they stomped us. So it has that MOBA element of teamwork and fulfilling roles and whatnot.
But
I
what I like
think
about
that-
the game too is you can literally switch characters after every death.
Oh yeah,
So there's
You
a lot
can
of
switch between
counterplay
deaths, too.
involved. Yeah, between deaths. There's a lot of counterplay involved. So if you see the enemy team running like 2 snipers, this and that, you can play something else to counter them. So there's a lot of. I'm curious to see how the professional scene's going to work on that, because it's so dynamic that the game is always changing. Each round is evolving so quickly that you have to react to it too.
Do you have
But
to
obviously,
buy
people
the
like me that want
classes?
to play one. No, everything's unlocked right away.
I see.
I think what I wanted to say, the thing about Paladins is that it really had something unique with the siege mode, and they basically have ripped that out and put in stuff that basically mirrors Overwatch. So they removed the card system. So they took basically everything that they had that was unique and homogenized it more towards like Team Fortress and Overwatch, and that's kind of the problem. Like now we are comparing it directly to Overwatch, so Overwatch is going to win because it has so much more polish and the visual style is so much nicer than what is basically a lot of flat shading,
So another reason to play Overwatch is it's a buy to play game, right? So you don't have to unlock heroes because they're all available for you, but you can still unlock cosmetics. Every time you level up, you get a loot box, and loot box is like 4 random items in it. Whether it's you can get skins, I believe, in there. You can get poses, you can get sprays, different voices. There is a lot to collect. It's almost like you got to collect them all. And some of the sprays and stuff are really cool, and the voices are really cool that you want to collect them. But there is a drive to keep playing. There's incentive to keep grinding and getting all the unlocks for your character that you like.
Are there
Which is
daily
nice.
quests like the other new Blizzard games?
I didn't look, but probably.
Right.
I mean, every Blizzard game has them now almost.
That's the one good thing New Blizzard has done, I think. In
Yeah, those daily
Heroes of the
quests.
Swarm, Heroes
Swarm.
of the Storm, Hearthstone, and maybe this, they're gonna have those dailies.
Can I get Trace's original pose though? Apparently not, Rev. It's too sexy for you, right? It's too
Here's
sexy.
another question. There's another kind of cartoony shooter we all played recently, Battleborn. That's also gonna be by to play. So how does Overwatch compare to Battleborn, which is really
Different
more
kind of
MOBA-like than Overwatch?
Battleborn is traditional MOBA. This is more like Team Fortress 2. And Team Fortress 2, I think, is an excellent comparison. If you enjoy Team Fortress 2, play Overwatch. At least try it, okay? Because conceptually, they are very similar. But the benefit of Overwatch versus Team Fortress 2 is you have so many more heroes. And the beauty is Blizzard can always add more heroes that keep people coming back. So if you like Team Fortress 2, definitely try Overwatch. They're both similar stylistic. Gameplay feels pretty similar, too.
And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
I wanted to cover real quick that now having played Overwatch, I see a lot of parallels between it and Lawbreakers. The thing is, though, that from what I've played of Lawbreakers, it's more arena shooter than it is like objective based, and the only modes they had were like the only mode they had was an augmented version of Capture the Flag, basically, and it was in a tightly designed environment where it was designed to have you clashing constantly, but like the way the abilities are set up is almost identical, where you have like one, maybe two weapons, and then you have the left shift, the Q, and the E, and that's almost identical with the cooldowns and everything, and it's kind of the same like genre, but instead of going for like a Team Fortress 2 thing, it's going for more of the Unreal Tournament thing. That's really going to be the big difference, and it's also, as polished as it is not nearly as charming as Overwatch. I'm going to say it.
Do you think Lawbreakers has any chance against Overwatch, considering both games are buy to play now? But prior, I would have said Lawbreakers people would try because it's free.
Okay,
but now
here's
both games are buy to
the
play.
thing. Like I said, they're going for two different types of game. Like, if it were going for the exact same thing, I'd say no, just because Blizzard is Blizzard. But the thing right now is they're going for two different things. They're taking the same paradigm and making two games with it. You know what I mean? They're different. Unless they converge on a more like payload and King of the Hill type thing, I think it'll be fine.
I think, as my perspective is, I bought Overwatch, right? Pre-ordered it, and now I'm playing it. There's no reason for me to buy Lawbreakers. I would not be I'd be open to trying Lawbreakers if it was free or just free trial, but I would not even think about buying it when I already bought Overwatch.
I would, and here's why. Is anyone else just prefer the old-fashioned deathmatch / team deathmatch?
Yes.
I don't
That's
want to
one thing
stand
I
on a
think is
circle for 30 seconds and capture the freaking like base. Like, I'm so tired of that. Like, I want to just jump in. I don't have to worry about my team. I want to jump in, shoot people, die, respawn, shoot some more people. You know.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, that's fair. You don't have that in Overwatch right now.
Yeah.
No, and I don't think you can get that in Overwatch. Or you could put it in, but it'll never be balanced because Overwatch caters to class roles and playstyles and teamwork, whereas the deathmatch is all about balancing, making it so that character A can kill character D and vice versa in between. I don't think you can get that in Overwatch. Just some characters are just designed for a different playstyle and approach.
Yeah, that's true. I don't see the characters working well.
Like, don't you remember the good old days? Like, even like, stuff like combat arms. You just jump in. You kill like 8 guys before you die. You feel good about yourself. Boom, you're back in action in 5 seconds. Respawn. You know, that's it. You don't have to worry about.
I do think that's missing. I think MOBAs are part of the problem, because a game like Overwatch is infusing itself with MOBA elements. A game like Battleborn is doing the same. Paladins, I guess, was trying something with the cards, and then they just gave up.
But yeah, see, I think that's where Lawbreakers is going to come in. I think it's going to take the same ability ideas, but it's going to make it a lot faster, and it's going to have like more modes that people that don't want to play like the whole MOBA paradigm are going to want.
Do you think they can add a map in Overwatch that would cater towards team deathmatch or deathmatch?
No, like Sean said, they're too catered towards class roles.
I mean, you could put it in, but it's not going to be balanced or be competitive. It would just be for screwing around, which I think would be worthy of putting in. It would let you try out the characters in like
I think they can do a lot with it that you're not giving them credit for. Fine, maybe I don't think free for all would work well, right? The frag fest. But what about 3v3v3v3, where you have the roles involved, and it'd be like an arena style map, and into 4 corners. I think that could potentially. Be
I could see something like that work.
Yeah,
I think it might just be a straight.
So you
5v5
mean like
mode.
Golden Rush, but it doesn't suck?
Golden Rush. Please don't ever mention Golden Rush on this stream. It is literally the most pay-to-win piece of shit game in the world.
Well, it's
Alright.
got the 3v3v3v3, unless it was 4. I can't remember. It was 4
It was
teams.
three. It was three.
All right, well,
it
while
was
we're
three.
talking, I want to quickly put on. Oh, I missed a quick video, a fan made of Duskwood in Unreal Engine.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So,
I always love these Unreal, remakes or whatever you want to call them.
I'm still not sure if these assets are default assets or what. I have no idea where they're coming from.
because Matt mentioned Golden Rush, I got to explain why this is the worst game in the world. Okay, it's literally the most pay-to-win MOBA. Listen, get this. Okay, there's like 5 heroes, right? Like a traditional MOBA. However, your ultimate is locked. The only way to get your ultimate is to basically buy a cash app item. Okay, you have to. So people that have the ultimate is they're just stronger than you are, right? And you can't level up your abilities the way you want. The game levels them up automatically. So you have 3 skills in an ultimate, but the game picks which order they get leveled up in. So there's no like growth customization, and there's like the cash app is a $400. Like you can buy $400 worth of cash app goods at once. So like right away, it's not a micro transaction; it's a macro transaction. And you can buy weapons for your character outside the game that you equip that permanently boost your stats while you're in game. So when you see somebody, you can see what buffs they have on them based on what gear they have. And like you can tell if they're a pay-to-win player because you click on them, they're level 1, you're level 1, they 2-shot you. Okay, it's not even fair. It's literally the worst game in the world.
Nice.
I don't know why I played it as much as I did, but the game sucks.
I could find you a worse game, I promise you.
I want to know something. Why can't we get Blizzard to sue this guy?
Well,
Duskwood guy?
Blizzard, you want to sue someone? Sue all the YouTubers putting your game and ranking it in a beautiful Unreal Engine 4 here, and reminding me how much I love Duskwood, which was one of my favorite zones in the game, by the way, in vanilla. As a horde, you could stand on top of the barn as a hunter
Classic.
and just snipe kids. All the noobs, and then they bring their alliance friends in, and since you have the high ground, you just murk them. A lot of fun.
But that level of like griefing that you just mentioned, we had an article on MMOs.com before. Is there room for griefing in MMOs? And I think this is a perfect example of why there is. Because what you just shared was an experience that I think a lot of us share.
I'll never forget it either. That's one of the most fun moments I had in WoW was just griefing kids in Duskwood.
But whether
And
it was you
cool
getting
because-
griefed or griefed, it was fun.
And you know what? It forces interaction because then you go on to general chat. You're like, oh, any level 6 griefed here, who can help me out? And you form a party and you meet other kids in the game and you actually feel like you're working together to fight
It's a
back against
world.
this other faction. Factional
Yes.
warfare has become like this backdrop, but it's not infused into the game. It's just an excuse to put in PvP rather than being an intricate part of the leveling process, which is what griefing in games like this does. So I really miss that a lot. And
That's
I
a
think
really good
WoW
point.
that was the only one where I really felt that. Help! I need level 60s, help me.
Yeah.
I want to bring up a little discussion. Maybe you guys will disagree with me or agree with me on this one.
Sure.
Okay. I think I'm all for griefing open PvP, guild battles or whatever.
Mhm.
But I think factions are a mistake in MMORPGs. Like hard factions where
dated.
you pick during character creation. And here's my evidence. So I'm a good lawyer here, ace attorney.
Oh, wow.
If you look at the stream here, basically, what happens in WoW today, when WoW is the biggest MMORPG, is all the big servers either are like 90% Horde or 90% Alliance.
Right.
So there's people
Yeah.
over time basically get rid of the whole faction aspect of the game.
And not just people, the developer too. Because before you could, if you played Horde on one server, you can't play Alliance. Now you can do both, can't you?
On the same server? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
But from a developer point of view, you split your world in half, or in some games like Dark Age of Camelot in thirds. And most players don't see all your content because of that.
But wait, Aaron, isn't the problem the whole server side where it's 90% Alliance, or isn't that partially because they made realm versus realm PvP rather than internal server PvP? So like when you queue up for Alterac Valley, I don't even know if that's relevant anymore, but you wouldn't just verse your own server, you would verse other servers.
They added that later because there was such a big, it was impossible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like on Illidan server, for example, there's like only 800 characters that are like max level, right? That killed at least one recent raid boss. So it was impossible for, and Blizzard saw that the faction equilibrium was so broken and there was no chance of it ever being fixed. So they did the whole realm thing.
I think you're right though. It makes a good point. Every server's lean unbelievably one side. If you look at that list.
So the trick is at least make the factions instead of like racial, just like political, and you can switch between them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's not
that's
bound to your
perfect.
character. Because
So are you trying to say like Blade and Soul, where you
I was
can
just thinking Blade and Soul.
it does that really well because
Okay,
you have the factions,
here's
but
the
you can switch
problem
at
with
will.
that, though. You always have the people that are going to see one side winning and jump to the side that's winning.
I mean that's okay. I mean you can put
That
some kind of
happens- that happens all
incentive.
the time.
You know there'll be some kind of incentive to join the losing team, or you know something.
Or you could, I think I'm not sure exactly how it works with Blade and Soul now, but you could easily incentives and disincentives could fix it. Like you could even block. Okay, there's too many people in this faction. You can't join right now, so you have to join the other one.
No, or you can just charge a fee to join, right? And then while the low factions actually pay you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a million
Oh,
ways.
yeah.
$20.
But that could be fixed very easily. I think Blade and Soul does that really well because there is world PvP in Blade and Soul, and she was telling me like that's her favorite part of the game was world PvP. And you just put on a piece of gear and then boom, you
That was my
beat
favorite
right away.
part of being Blade and Soul too.
So does
don't
anyone
know if-
does anyone here? I thought we could have a nice argument, but I think you all kind of
Let me
agree with
think.
me.
No, I like the concept of faction wars because, as Sean said, it brings apart like a world community. But then again, we've learned that it doesn't work. I mean, whether you like it or not is relative. It doesn't work.
See, the thing about factions too is that it's always, to me, especially now, it just kind of serves as an excuse to put two sides against each other, rather than serving as a part of anything else. And I think like it's time to move on. You know, factional
Okay.
PvP has been around for too long. I think I like the idea of having different political factions, or even like mercenary groups, and that's kind of how Blade and Soul does it, where you can freely switch between them, join them. There's some types of rewards.
People in chat. I'm sorry to cut you off here, but people
Okay,
in chat were talking about language barriers in WoW between the two factions,
Mhm.
and you can have that in a game where it's not bound to your faction. For example, EverQuest, each of the races had their own language, and so when someone, if like an ogre talked to you in his native language, you would only understand a pieces of the word until you keep speaking with him, and then you can learn ogre language.
Mm.
It's actually really interesting design because
That was cool.
When they talk, you would learn a little bit more of his language. So it gained very slowly, but it's interesting, but it didn't really take off.
Right.
Okay, here's the other thing about factions, though. Factions end up being pointless because people separate off into their guilds anyways, and then
Exactly.
guilds have their alliances between guilds. So all it serves to do is force you to fight only these other people.
Okay,
Right.
but it also it's I think factions are more important for world PvP than it is for anything else, right?
But-
It's more about that.
But if you have world PvP between guilds, then it's still more dynamic than two factions.
Or
No, but I
towns.
don't like that because
Imagine you can join a town.
guilds are an active pursuit, right? You have to, not like someone like me in Black Desert. I never wanted to really join a guild and have to like be part of the guild, like my small clique of people and wage PvP. That I like the idea of being part of a larger community. It's kind of like I am, in reality in a town. I don't actively participate in town council meetings, but I'm part of my town. I want that in a game. I'm part
You're
of.
part of a
either a
larger
village
community
or-
than
And you
or
want to
faction
kill members
group.
of the other town, right?
Well,
You wanna
here's-
Yeah,
kill-
I want to
you
kill
wanna
members of
kill-
the town.
Here's a
But you're
suggestion.
part of a larger
Imagine
community
kingdoms you
that
can
you're
swear
never
loyalty
part
to,
of,
and then switch.
What was that?
Imagine like kingdoms in a game you could swear loyalty to, but
Yeah.
switch at any time, like all in one persistent world.
I think games that let you switch kind of solve this problem. I
Exactly.
mean, whether it was Ultima Online with factions, I mean, there's a pretty bad example because it's super old. But I think that worked because you could leave your faction and join another faction. There was like 5 factions, and Blade and Soul does it. WoW, it just didn't work because you're stuck on one faction. If you're Horde, you're Horde, and there's nothing you can do. You can't. You have to go make a new character, a different server.
All right. Well, I guess we're kind of on the same page. So
It would have been nice to have a system where factions just work, but it looks like it really just doesn't work in WoW at least. And if somebody mentioned this was pretty interesting. I don't know if everybody knows this, but when you say Kek, K-E-K, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys heard that term. It's basically if somebody on Horde says LOL and your alliance, what you see is Kek because that's like the language difference in the game.
No way.
That's where that word
That's where
comes
that
from.
came from?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
See, today you learn something new every day.
That's cool.
I was just wondering the other day where that came from.
Well, again, am I the only one that knew that?
I thought it was something different. I thought it was far more derogatory than that. But okay.
Well, you guys know why some people go GGG or ja ja ja, right?
I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like they're
Yeah.
laughing in a different language, right? Ja ja ja.
It's like
It's
isn't
because
that
in,
Pokemon Brazilians?
In like Spanish,
That's what I thought.
the J is the H sound.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
So
Alright,
it's still
guys.
ha ha ha. But
Guys, I have to bring this up, all right?
Okay, go ahead. What could
A
it be?
little unrelated with switching. Can't quit on a loss, can't quit on a win streak. This is why I'm up all night. And this actually, I have a little story because I wanted to play a little bit of League, right? A couple two nights ago, and I couldn't win because I haven't played League like seriously in ranked in like over I would say like in like 8 months I haven't played, right? I would just play normals like once every few days with a couple friends. That's it, right? Usually some girls, so they suck at it, obviously. So it doesn't really give me any practice. So I was playing, I just couldn't win. I got so unlucky, right? I lost 8 times in a row.
Ouch.
I didn't want to leave because you can't leave on a losing streak, right? You can't quit on a
Yeah,
loss. And then I got that one win, and I was able to quit, and I went to sleep, right? The next day, I played again, 8 losses in a row. 8 wins, 8 losses, 1 win, 8 losses. I lost 15 of the last 16 games, unfortunately, or 17 out of the last 18, which is pretty terrible. But I just started winning recently, so I made up for it. But those losing sprees, I hate them. It's just so frustrating when you're playing League or Dota and you just can't win. And it's not even always your fault. It just you get so unlucky over and over again. Have you guys ever had that?
I used to be like that. Now with Rocket League, when I play, if I lose 2 or 3 games, I just quit and come back later. I just go, nope, I can't do this. The suffering is too great. I need a break. I need to relax for a second, then I can come back and I go on a winning streak. And I always try to quit while I'm winning too.
But when I play Rocket League and I lose, it doesn't really nag me at all because I still have it's just.
Oh, I see. I've gotten past that honeymoon phase. I feel like now I gotta win.
You gotta win now. You gotta play to win.
It's not just a silly game with cars hitting a ball. I gotta win. So
if I do
I've
too
learned to quit.
badly, I'll quit because like clearly I'm not just gonna like turn around and suddenly do better.
That's good mentality though. If you quit while you're like on a losing spree, like that's because whether you're on, even if you don't think you're on tilt, you're on tilt. All right. It's a mental thing. It gets you.
Like either I'm losing because I'm fatigued, or I'm gonna get angry and still not do well. So
Yeah.
I just quit.
Altai, what is your worst losing spree in Dota? Do you remember?
Well, actually, there's a site called Dota Buff that keeps track of it. And for my biggest losing streak, I can actually tell you guys. Here we
Oh,
go.
League doesn't have these kind of advanced
52.
metrics.
I'm calling it 52.
It
because
can't
you
be that.
didn't
It's
know that was
impossible.
the-
Nobody can win
Alright,
50.
my
Nobody can lose
first,
50 in a
let's go
row.
through my stats, guys, here on Dota. Longest match is 1 hour and 38 minutes. Most
What?
kills in one match is 40. I don't know if that happens in League.
No, I've never seen 40 kills. or
Longest
close
lose
to
streak
40
right here,
kills.
11 games. That is impressive.
Ouch.
Holy shit! I've had
You're
like
a
10 or
tyrant,
11
man.
too, I think, though. So if you think about that, your average game is like 40 minutes, right? So imagine losing
Oh my god.
5 hours worth of Dota in a row.
That's why I hate
how
MOBAs.
taxing can that be on your mind?
All right, so he's middle of the road and he'll never be pro. It's settled.
Yeah.
Wow,
I mean,
the
I
facts
gave
of
up on
life.
being pro a long time ago.
Matt dropping some truth bombs in here, boys. Crushing dreams.
Well, I'm quoting him from like the second podcast I was on.
Oh really?
Yeah, remember I said if you play like 1,000 games of League or Dota, and you're somewhere like in the middle, you'll never be pro. You don't have this. It's like you don't have the
Oh,
natural
I do
talent.
remember you saying that.
Oh, you're so Rim Pepperoni. He'll never be pro. It's nice that Dota has all these stats. I wish League did better with stats. There are a few third-party sites that keep track of them, but the League API is dookie.
Maybe when you get your new engine, you can you get
Yeah,
your
yeah.
stat collection.
We'll never gonna get that new engine. There's no replays yet. It's never gonna happen.
Damn, even RuneScape got a new engine. What's wrong with you guys?
What's wrong with Riot? Okay, come on.
It's the B team. It's Erhan's B team.
Okay, Altai, what's your explanation for the lack of replays in League? Is it the B team at Riot, even though that's their only game, and they're the biggest?
No, they're making
studio?
another game. Remember? They're making a card game or something.
Fighting game.
Well, they bought a fighting game. We don't know if they're actually making it. They shut it down. We don't know what they're
They're
making.
definitely making a fucking card game.
So
put my
they're
money
working
on it.
on there was like a sandbox crafting game that studio was also working on, right? So aren't they working on that one? They're
No
working on
one
two
knows.
games,
That's the
they
thing.
shut one down.
It's unannounced. No one has any idea what Riot's working on. We're just speculating.
Well, they did buy that studio, and we know they shut the fighting game down, but they're working on the other games still. So that second game is still being worked on 100%.
Yeah. So I think the A team's on. I think following Erhan's logic, that the A team is on that. The B team's out at lunch, and the C team is running League. That's what I think. So
No, I think the A team is working on a CGI League of Legends movie that, like the Final Fantasy VII movie, will be almost
Ouch.
nothing but fight scenes.
Are we talking Spirits Within, or are we talking the Final Fantasy VII, the new
Advent
one?
Children.
Okay. The Spirits Within was unbelievably bad. I remember watching it, right? But I remember
Advent-
nothing. It was so unmemorable.
I gotta look it up. I know I saw it too. But
Okay,
let's see how.
Advent Children was like nothing but well choreographed fight scenes.
Yeah. But I'd rather watch Dragon Ball Z than some
Oh,
random
the
CGI
Spirits
fight
Within was
scenes.
horrible. Oh,
Yeah, I
why'd you
know.
remind me of this? Oh,
It was so unmemorable, wasn't it?
no, it makes me feel nauseous, like I'm car sick.
Okay,
Well, see,
I have another
I reminded
controversy.
you of the cool fight scene one, Advent Children.
Yeah, at least that one had some cool fight scenes, but I didn't really enjoy it either because you didn't have the same story of Final Fantasy game. It didn't
No,
feel
it's
engaging.
true.
No,
It just-
I know. I
it's-
don't remember like any of it at all,
Me
except
neither.
for like vague
Wait,
bits and pieces.
I'm very excited here because Erhan here just announced that he has a controversy.
Ooh.
All right,
what it could be.
it's a mini controversy. Okay, here we go. Ready? So,
I'm ready.
browsing the MMO news as I often do, I came
Sure,
across
sure,
I
whatever
came
you say.
across a new game being published by Aria, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about here. Twin Saga. Wow.
Twin Sega.
It's area.
Whatever. Anyway, so I'm like, wow, how did I not hear about this? Oh wait, I did hear about this. It's actually
Yeah.
Astral
You
Realm.
set up the game page, didn't you?
It's Astral Realm, but these douchebags decided to change the name to Twin Saga. Why?
And then we got to change our URLs. I have
Why?
no. Why do they change the name?
I mean-
That's something that pisses me off.
Exactly,
I
it
have
grinds my
I don't
gears.
understand. You know, it's funny. I had to like dig because I forgot that this game was called Astro Realm. It wasn't until I was browsing some other website that I remember. Oh yeah, this game already exists. So
Yo, the call dropped.
Oh yeah, Skype drop, boys. Call me. Omar like died, I think.
oh.
Oh my god, look at that thing. I'm hosting now. Okay.
Does it matter?
Mute
Okay,
yourself,
this is a
mute
good
yourself.
point. Hope you said, does it matter? Does it matter? You know what? I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. But then at the same time, the inverse of that is why do they do it in the first place? What's the motivation?
Okay.
Like, is Twin Saga
I-
any more Western appealing
Matt, mute yourself on
than
Skype.
Astral Realm? They're
Oh,
both as
shit,
confusing.
I think it matters, and here's why it matters, okay? Because people, maybe not with Twin Saga, but people do look forward to foreign MMOs a lot, and they sit there and they hype it up, and they're looking for this one game, and then all of a sudden some other name comes up, and they don't know to look for that, you know what I mean? They don't know to look for Twin Saga instead of Astral Realms or whatever the fuck it's called.
Well, exactly. So why are they confusing everyone?
Yeah, I don't follow what you mean.
Yeah. And Matt, Sean, make sure you're muted too on Skype.
No, I'm saying it does matter that they change it because they're confusing people.
Right. Okay. So I think we all agree they're retarded for changing it.
I agree. Are we in agreement?
All in
Also,
favor
I
of them
think
being
Astral
retards?
Realms,
Matt?
yes.
Yes,
all in
okay,
favor.
good.
But I think what I was going to say is I think Astral Realms sounds marginally less generic than Twin Saga.
Right. And,
Right,
and that's
sorry.
his
I
point.
agree. Astral Realms does sound a little better,
Like-
doesn't it?
I can see that some Chinese games might have a name that doesn't translate well, like
Right.
Epic Lobo Fight of the Kingdoms. All right, you maybe want to change that, but Astral Realm sounds fine.
Have you seen some of these translations? They're like a mile long, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck?
For example, you just said Zhujian, for example, is a very popular game in China. It's my perfect world. It's just Jade Dynasty in the West. Because Zhujian doesn't mean anything, But Jade Dynasty is at least something we can... It's
Okay,
relevant.
but Astral Realm it's two English words. They mean something. We both know Astral, both know Realm, right? Twin Saga. Twin Saga sounds like a psychology case study. I don't understand what's going on here.
Oh, the
Like-
psychology case study makes sense. That is now that you said that's what it
That's
sounds
all I can
like.
think. I'm like, okay, they took two twins, they shot one into space, left one on Earth, and now they're gonna compare their bone structure in 30 years. Like, what is this? What the hell does this mean? Twin Saga.
I think
don't
it
get
sounds like a terrible anime.
Generic anime X Legends game with one unique feature that makes it fun for about a month, and then everyone moves on to the next thing. That's it. That's what I think.
I think Twin Saga sounds like a generic anime about a guy with a sister complex.
Isn't that all anime?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's a very stupid name.
Unfortunately, we're
I mean,
not arguing.
they're not
but-
both. They're not bad. It's not a bad name, but there's just no reason
No.
to change it from the original.
What do you think the thought process is behind that? Oh, we got to make this simpler for the Westerners.
For the dumb
Otherwise They won't
Westerners.
understand. Those gosh darn Westerners.
No clue.
Okay, in terms of really dumb game names, the game I've been playing recently with Witchy, Tubby, and Shrelia, and a little bit of Gumby too. Melty Blood, Actress Again, Current Code. Just
It is
think
a
about
cra-
that.
That sounds
I've ever
Japanese.
What does Melty Blood mean? What does actress again mean? And why is current code in there?
Where's actress first? Every time you
Okay.
start a match, it says actress again.
Yeah,
What
what,
was the
what does
first
that
one?
mean?
Where's the first actress? What?
Well, the previous games, I guess. But current code is just the name of the current revision. Kind of like it's got new story, but it's kind of like a Guilty Gear Xrd now. It has Guilty Gear Xrd. Shit, what is it called? I don't remember
Nah, I
what
like
the
the fact
original
that you
one's
can
called.
defend this.
Yeah,
But
why
the
actress
new
again?
one, the new one is called Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator. So it's the same game with new characters and new story content. Because that's how fighting games work. They're revisions for the arcade version. They're bringing the new revision to consoles, but they're making you pay for it because it's
But
got.
why are they
new
actresses
stuff.
again?
Guys.
I don't know. It's
And
just
they're not all
the
actresses.
name of
There's some
the-
actors in there.
It's just the name they went for. No, it was Act Cadenza, not Actress
Because
Cadenza.
I have an idea, guys. Let's play a game. Ready?
All right.
Let's all say the stupidest MMORPG name we could think of.
Hold
For an
on.
actual game that exists or existed.
I gotta go to the random page for a second.
I gotta
Alright.
think. This is a good question.
This is
Okay.
a good question. Let's
I
go to the
believe
game
there
list.
was a Genghis Khan online.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
remember.
that dumb, though.
But that's not that dumb. That makes sense.
Genghis
No.
Khan was a badass.
What does that mean though? Genghis Khan online. It's like
Like, are
you're
you
not playing
playing
Genghis
Genghis Khan?
Khan.
They
It's
put
like,
Genghis Khan online. He's hooked up now.
You all
He's
play
hooked up
Genghis
to the
Khans.
Matrix.
It's a very
I don't
stupid
know.
name.
Asta, the War of Tears and Winds is pretty bad.
It's a bit long.
It sounds pretty like epic, actually. I kind of like it.
I
The
think this
War
one's
of
pretty
Tears
good.
and Winds.
Okay,
Crime,
it creates.
craft.
Hey, look, I got it. The whole realm becomes sad because of the war, and winds destroy the realm. All right, I don't know. It makes some sense.
Someone in chat said a funny one, which now that I think about it, does sound silly. Fly for fun.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
Like,
I
hey guys,
fly for-
hey guys, let's play
Fly
some
for
fly
fun.
for fun.
Guys, I fly for shame.
How about Dream of Mirrors online? You're dreaming of mirrors? What?
But that's based on an
You-
actual book in China, so it kind of makes
Oh.
sense.
I dream of mirrors all the time, guys. Come on.
All right, here's a good one. Thang online. Thang online. What does that mean?
H-A-N-G?
Guys, ready?
Got that thing?
Luminary, Rise of the Gunzu.
That
Well, it
one's
depends
awesome.
what
You know
Gunzu
it.
means.
I don't know what Gunzu means. It sounds like a silly word.
But yeah, there are a lot of weird names out there. I will say that.
Well, what about the most badass name?
Ooh.
Was-
Hmm.
Snow.
It's not an MMO, but No More Room in Hell. I love that name.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
I
a good
love
game
that
too.
name.
I love that game. Shakes and Fidget is a pretty silly name.
But the game is silly, so it kind of makes sense for them.
Fair enough.
Scions of Fate, another.
Yeah, Scions of Fate's not bad.
Wait,
Kinda like
isn't
that
this one's kind of weird? Tree of Savior.
No.
What do you
You
mean,
gotta
no,
save
no,
the
no?
tree.
It's not
What does that
bad.
mean?
It's not great, but it's not awful.
The Tree of the Savior?
Isn't the tree the Yggdrasil tree from
Yggdrasil?
Norse?
Yeah.
So maybe?
Here's
The
one.
Legend of Legacy.
That's
a
awful.
pretty
Legend
bad
of
one.
Legacy.
That's awful.
I always thought Worm Online was pretty weird too. It's just not appealing. It sounds kind of like, Worm Online.
I think Wolf Team sounds pretty stupid too.
Wolf Team
It's
is
a
pretty
team
dope.
of wolves. It's like Pack of Raptors. If they made a game called Raptor Pack, you wouldn't question that.
That brings you up to another nagging issue. Pay to
Go
win
ahead.
in FPS games. I hate it. Like
You
a
hate
game
what?
like Wolf Team is unplayable today because it's pay to win. Like everything costs money and everything you buy with money is OP. To the point where if you're playing as a free user, you just basically fodder for people that pay.
I feel like you're just attracted to really shitty FPSs. is your
Look,
problem.
I love
I think you just
War
have like
Mode.
this addiction to really bad FPSs, and then you inflate them and get annoyed when you find out they're pay to win.
Okay, I've got another bad one. Night Falls.
Knife balls.
It's not bad.
No,
Sounds
it's
like
one
an
word.
HBO vampire
It's
show.
one word. Night Falls.
Oh.
Oh,
Fine. That's expansion to Guild Wars, isn't it? Guild Wars, Nightfalls.
That's Nightfall.
Oh,
With an
whatever. You give it to me plural. Same jazz, all right?
yeah,
Also-
dude. The most funny game name ever is Final Fantasy because they never end. It's true. They never end. There's gonna be a million Final Fantasies forever.
All right, I got the best one.
Okay, that is a dad joke. My dad made that joke when I was like 10.
Guys, I found
Well,
the
that's
best
a-
one.
Dad
A
jokes
lot.
are top notch.
Alta announced he's got the best one, guys.
Best
Let's see.
thumb
All right,
name. Ready?
Altai.
Dofus. Come on.
Doofus.
Doofus.
Dofus is pretty bad. Wakfu's
Okay.
right up there then.
Battle Battalions is pretty bad too. Yeah, I'll admit that.
Let me see what else we got here. But also, side note, I remember in the last podcast, if you read the comments from the YouTube video, like
Yeah.
half the comments were commenting on Matt's hair. So I'm just
Oh,
throwing that out
I
there,
saw
Matt.
that. Yeah, big props to Matt's hair. Congratulations, Matt's hair.
Matt, you were a distraction in the last podcast. All right? I want you to know that.
Now I'm gonna be more of a distraction with my shirtless. I mean, my
Yeah.
sleeveless shirt.
Matt went even more
Shirtless.
thug. He's like, he could have handled like the little thug he had last time. Now he went full thug. He's got the
Full
wife beater
white.
on and the hair.
All right, speaking of bad games, and a relevant topic, I guess, for discussion
Really?
here. Ready, guys?
Blazing
there's a
Throne.
new trailer for Master X Master.
That's it's a stupid name, but it's an interesting game. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's a MOBA by NCSoft, and NCSoft thinks they got some hot shit IPs here. So it's like a mishmash of all their famous characters, I guess, in a MOBA
They're
world.
not really famous though,
So they're pulling out Blizzard. They think they got some hot shit IPs here.
but they don't.
These recognizable characters that everybody knows and loves and sleeps
But they're
with,
not.
quilted onto a pillow. Can anyone name? All right, here's a good question. Can
I have
anybody
not recognized
name
a
one
single character.
NCSoft character by name?
I got it. Hold on. Cricket. That's what the tutorial guy calls
Who
you.
the fuck is Cricket?
Hung Moon.
Oh, Hung Moon. That's right. Okay,
But-
yeah,
but-
Blade and Soul.
Honestly, they're really unmemorable characters, though. They have Lineage 2 characters, Blade and Soul characters in there, Wildstar characters, but I can't name any Wildstar
That
characters.
one Char guy from Guild Wars.
I like that. That one Char guy. Yo, who's your favorite hero? I like that one Char guy.
Alright, I do want to talk about the interesting part about Master X Master, though. I'm curious how they're going to pull it off, because the way it works is you get two characters, right? So I had this idea years ago when I was talking to people about League of Legends about being able to like tag team characters. So you could actually tag team characters in Master X Master. So you pick two characters and each character gets a different weapon. Start of the game, and you can literally switch between characters with the flick of your mouse wheel. So when you're low on HP, you can switch to the other character, right? And it allows for crazy combos because characters will synergize well with each other. But do you think they can pull that off without making it overly complex? Because think about it. Imagine being able to. How do you memorize 8? So not only do you have to know what your opponents can do with their 4 abilities, right? But you also know what all their tag team guys can do as well. Which
Hey,
makes
it's
it
that
super
Char guy.
complicated.
He showed up.
Like, it seems like overly complex because it seems the learning curve must be through the roof.
I think NCSoft is too late with this. Honestly, I don't know if this game is gonna find an audience. To be honest.
Okay,
I like
well,
them trying
see-
something different though. They're trying something different. Props to them for that. But I just think it's gonna be too complex.
The name
Yeah.
isn't dumb because it's got two characters, so it's Master X Master, and they're called Masters.
Yeah,
Do you think
it
we'll
makes
see?
sense.
There's one thing I really care about when it comes to Master X. I think Aaron's right. I think this is too late. I cannot see this game being successful over here in the West. I just think they're not. NCSoft isn't exactly a powerhouse, except for Guild Wars, and I guess Blade and Soul too.
Mhm.
But are they gonna bring back X Steel in this game? Will there be an X Steel hero?
Oh,
They did
that'd be like
publish
a
X
fan.
Steel, and
That'd be
that
like a
would be
fan
awesome.
treat right there.
I'll play this game just for that X Steel hero.
Is there gonna be an X Steel hero? No way.
Probably not. Not. I mean, not
they
at
don't
first.
really have that many client games, at least as far as we have listed. I mean, it's Aeon and then everything we've said. So
I think the biggest problem is that like the two heroes thing just isn't enough. Like it's interesting and it's nice and all, but it's not good enough. You know.
But
what
there's
I
also
mean?
weapons. You equip different weapons on every hero as well, so you can further customize your like, combinations of characters.
you think
yeah,
there'll
but
be a
it's
shop
not
in game to
enough.
buy items.
Also, somebody mentioned League is 130 heroes, so complaining about possible mixed matchup between 30 is kind of unnecessary. But the problem is dealing with 8 abilities at once, because you have to realize your opponent has 8 abilities, you have 8 abilities, and you can both switch at will. So being able to 1v1 him requires a tremendous amount of game knowledge, because when to switch, what he can switch into, how you can counter. It really
Okay, but Omer,
multiplies the
you're-
complexity.
You're saying, I mean, okay, look, just to establish some precedent to this notion, I mean, fighting games have done this for, forever. I mean, Street Fighter versus Capcom, you pick 3
tag
heroes
team,
and
yeah.
switch between them, right? So
That's 1v1 though.
It-
This is a
it is
5v5
1v1,
MOBA.
but so they're trying to take that and translate into a MOBA.
Can you imagine a team fight? It's gonna be a complete clusterfuck.
I mean, I actually think it's a cool idea, but my
Yeah.
biggest issue is not complexity. It's too little, too late. Like the market is so saturated for MOBAs.
That too, obviously, and
And it's not memorable.
I mean, it could be done in a way that's not as complex. I haven't played the game yet. Just conceptually, it seems very complex. But if they can pull it off, God bless, because it's a really cool idea.
right. Well, we'll have to find out when
I feel
Master
like, what
Master
should actually
comes out.
happen is other titles should take this and put them in their own games and just put it as like an experimental mode for fun.
Okay, I think the biggest problem though that we're not even addressing is that the mini games are dumb.
There's
There are-
mini games.
There's mini games.
Yeah, like a platforming
Mini
thing.
games?
You guys didn't see that in the trailer?
Yeah, I did see that for a second.
Yeah, it's dumb. There are mini games where you take heroes and go through platforming.
That sounds odd. Is it like during the middle of a match?
I don't know. I don't
Or-
think so.
No, I
it's
know
a-
that. Okay, so in the game, according to the game page that I think I put together, there's PvE missions. There's over 25 maps and dungeons with 5 difficulty settings, and you have to do them. Oh, this is like Battleborn. You have to do them to unlock characters, runes, materials, and achievements. So just like Battleborn, I think you're gonna have to
Dumb.
do these PvE missions to improve your characters and be competitive. And I find that really fucking annoying. And I think locking
Dumb.
content in a PvP-focused game behind PvE content is a big turnoff for quite a few people. And I don't think any of us like that in Battleborn.
Okay,
at all.
that's like saying there's so many people that play Call of Duty just for the multiplayer, right? You now have to finish the campaign to max out your multiplayer character
Yeah,
and
but the
unlock
Call
all
of
the
Duty
weapons.
campaign is 4 hours long.
For
5
now,
hours long.
but I mean, Infinite Warfare, it could go on forever, man.
Wasn't that an issue we had with Battleborn as well?
Yeah, I said that 3 times.
Oh,
You know what? You never listen to me.
no.
This is what you want to talk about. Not having nice things. This is why.
This
we
is
can't
why
have
your
nice
relationship isn't working, Erhan. Damn.
All I could think about was how awful that Battleborn single player or story mode was. That must have been the worst thing I've done in my life.
Come on, there's definitely worse things out there. Okay,
It's like they gutted Ratchet and Clank up your arsenal.
it wasn't. Come on, it wasn't as bad as freaking that mobile we talked about earlier, Golden Rush. All right,
Golden Rush.
So that's the go-to
Never
right
mind.
here.
It reminds me of Prime World actually, because Prime World, when you talk about mini games, it reminds me of Prime World because in Prime World there's a very very stupid mini game where in the middle of a game, right, literally in the middle of a match, a player can just walk up to this board game in your base and start playing Zuma, where you like to match these 3 balls, right? So like, why is that in the game?
What?
Like,
Oh yeah,
literally,
there's,
in the
there's a
middle
Zuma.
of
There's a
five-fight
Zuma board in your base in this MOBA. Yeah, I remember
And
this.
if you, and if you complete the mini game, which takes like freaking like 5 minutes in a mobile, that's like game breaking amount of time, right? You get like a scroll that increases armor in an AoE for like by 2, which is literally useless, right? So the only reason they put that there, I think, and Aaron had this theory, is for the girls on your team that you don't want them to feed, right? So you tell them to go stay in base and play Zuma or something.
It's like, we need you in base on the Zuma board. You know, the board game. You know, take care of that.
No feeding, right?
All right, boys.
Erhan's theory crafting is spot on.
I got
You
some
gotta
good
write a
news.
book.
I got some good news. You guys want some good news?
I want some good
Love
news.
good news.
All right. Google Chrome is now the most popular web browser in the world.
That took long enough.
Hallelujah.
So it finally passed Internet
Internet
Explorer.
Explorer.
Yeah.
Wait a second. How is that possible? There's still so many old people. I don't understand. Like a lot of grandchildren must have installed Chrome on their grandparents' computers.
Okay, so I moved to Firefox.
Whoa,
Firefox
Matt's
has
a
been
hipster,
declining
boys.
for a long time now.
I actually
No, I-
use both Chrome and Firefox at the same time.
Okay,
And I use
Chrome-
Firefox Developer Edition.
I use
too.
Opera.
Chrome
Wait,
locked
wait.
up my computer when it started for a while. So
Really?
I got tired of it and moved to
Wow.
Firefox.
Opera
Yeah.
for life, boys.
I've actually
I
found
tried
Chrome
using
to be
Opera.
cleaner than Firefox.
I like Opera in the whole sense that it has like a built-in email client, but the thing is, it is so slow compared to the other ones.
Interesting.
So I'm looking at a graph here, and on the chart they have Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Opera, and then there's a tab called Other.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Other?
I'll tell you, I know exactly what.
Oh, there's
Other
a lot of
What's
other.
Other?
There's a lot of them. Chromium. There's Vivaldi.
Okay.
That's 2.
Wow. What, is that it?
There's that Panda one that's on
If you're on the
Steam
PSP
now.
browser, for example, that
Oh
counts as
yeah.
other.
Okay.
Wait,
Oh,
there's
yeah,
one really
Netscape.
weird one. A really old one.
Netscape?
Netscape, yeah.
I went to
That's
say
such a good one.
Safari and then I realized.
How many people do you think are still at AOL?
There's some.
That's what I want to know.
I'm still
I
a
used
fan
to
of
have AOL. I used to when I was like.
I mean, we all had
Good
it
old
back in the
times.
day.
back
That
in the
thing was
day.
I actually never had
terrible. That
AOL.
browser was
Really?
awful.
Yeah, I
Nobody
never
was
had
an
AOL.
Earthlink guy.
Yeah, I was an Earthlink guy. We were all about Earthlink in my house.
We were always jelly about the Earthlink people back when we had dial-up and AOL. Like, oh, all the Earthlink guys probably never DC the way we DC.
We also had dial. What are you talking about?
And then you guys probably assumed
we
that,
used to,
they got
yeah,
AOL. That's a good
Yeah,
shit.
I always wanted AOL.
Okay, so we had AOL, right? And we still used to get all the trial discs in the mail, so we used to use them as frisbees.
Yeah.
Well, everyone did that.
we
That
had
was
so
like that
many.
was classic.
That was some very pertinent news there. I'm pretty happy to learn about that.
All right. Well, if you like that kind of news, I got another piece for you.
Oh wow, please bring it on.
All right.
Okay. Opera got bought by a Chinese company, by the way, so I think it's owned by the
That's
Chinese.
good
wow.
faith then.
Heads
That
up.
means I'm gonna start using Opera.
Okay. So
You know, it's probably the most unimportant piece of trivia that is on here. Safari's actually available for Windows, and I don't understand why.
who would download that?
Right?
I don't know. I thought the only people that use it were Mac
Fascists.
users, but it's available for Windows.
Guys,
Like,
Windows
I don't know why you
XP
would,
is
but-
below 10% of OS market share now. That's the first time it's ever dropped below 10%.
The fact that
It's
it's
about
around 10%.
time.
It's still 9.6, but it's below 10. That's your update for the computer world for the week. Uh-oh, I can't hear you guys.
There he is.
What
Still
happened?
alive.
Blizzard made him sleep with the fishes. For all that talk about the D team.
It would be
Alright.
funny if two guys slam on your door and stumble in. They got their WoW T-shirts on, and they start threatening you. D team, huh?
Yeah, that Captain Fatty brought up a good point.
What's
a lot
that?
of web devs want to see their website on Chrome,
Oh,
on
yeah.
Safari, and that actually was a big issue for MMOs.com for a while. We had some very nagging issues with Internet Explorer, where everything worked, right, for everything, but Internet Explorer, because it's Internet Explorer, was retarded, and it just refused to work. So we had to find fixes for it. So that's one of the reasons people have multiple browsers, to make sure their website runs perfectly fine on every browser.
I read a funny
Alright,
comment on this post. It was like, this guy says, he could be lying, but he said, I'm an employer, and when I interview potential employees, I ask them what browser they use. And if they say Internet Explorer, I don't hire them.
Not a bad idea. Honestly, it's
Alright,
not a
so-
bad idea.
There's more important news, though. We forgot. Oculus is going to be in retail stores before some pre-orders are filled.
Oh yes.
That's awful.
And
Including
I'm one of
ours.
those pre-orders.
Yeah, including our
And-
pre-order.
That's
and
a
it's going to be super limited in quantities, and it's probably going to sell out as some sort of other pre-order, but it'll be there. you
But they're
know?
assholes are doing that. Pure
In
assholes.
Oculus's defense,
No, there's no defense. They're
no,
assholes.
there is one defense, right? And it comes down
One
to
defense.
the number of Americans who don't even know that VR exists. It was Superdata did a report recently, and I'll find it for a second here. Basically, it's over 50% of people have no idea virtual reality exists, and nearly 80% of consumers, they rarely hear about it. So that means I think like that other 30% that does hear about it probably saw it in like The Matrix or a movie or something, but they don't even know what's going on. So this is a
believe
big
that.
this
I
is a
believe that
big
too.
marketing push by Oculus, and it is, I think, important because they're trying to get the like who goes to Best Buy. It's I don't think it's us, you know. It's
Average
the average
Joes.
consumer goes to Best Buy.
I go to Best Buy because I don't have any alternatives here.
Oh, sorry.
Like
We have
Amazon, you might
Microsoft.
go
He lives in the boonies next to the alligators.
Okay, I'm not far south enough to have alligators. Okay, that's a lie. There are swamps here with alligators,
But-
but not. It's
Matt-
not
Matt
flooded
wrangles
with
alligators in his
alligators.
free
I could
time,
I could just see him in his wife beater and his hair tied up, you know, on his little like riverboat
He's
with a
got a
beer.
Confederate flag on his Ford pickup truck.
Okay, I am not that ignorant.
I'm
Even if
kidding.
you guys could make a case for me being ignorant, I'm not that ignorant.
So the director of research at Superdata basically said that for consumer adoption to really take place, you know, for their 2020 estimates,
That
to
doesn't make
happen,
sense, though.
that-
Gumby, you
why
can't
does it
defend
make
them.
sense?
They're being
How
assholes.
does that not logically make sense from
I'll
Oculus?
tell you why.
standpoint?
I'll tell you
me.
why. Listen, if people, why are you selling product at a physical store when you can't even meet the pre-order demand?
No,
The
no,
people
I
that literally
agree.
funded the game,
Yes.
funded the product,
The
before-
game.
the product, right? These people were early adopters, and you're giving them a big FU to their face, and you're selling it to retail before. They should push every single retail copy into the hands of pre-orders before they touch anything else.
Well, I agree with you, but let me sell it to Sean in a more
Okay.
rational manner. Okay, here we
That
go.
was
I
pretty
was
rational. What are you talking about?
No,
Go
here's
ahead,
what
though.
I mean. So your issue is they want to educate the market on the existence of the product.
I'm not defending them. I'm just
No,
saying that they have. I get the
You're
logic
trying-
behind why they did it.
Okay, but
They could just put up ads. in
your
Best
logic
Buy
is
for,
faulty
like, 2
for this
months.
reason. if
Why?
they
Tell
cannot
me.
meet today's limited supply, educating the market on a product they can't deliver is not doing them any favors.
Okay,
Yeah.
but here the thing is, see, I think what you just said is also faulty. I don't think this is being done in order to get conversions. I don't think they intend to sell. I think they just want to generate buzz, right? They just want to get Channel
Yes.
7 News down to Best Buy to film people trying out their VR device. I don't think they expect anybody to actually buy an
Right.
Oculus.
But the
or try
half-life
one
of
at
interest,
the
the
store.
half-life of
But
interest
here's
on
the
anything is
problem.
low, correct? So if
I don't know.
if the CNBC or whatever has a guy at Best Buy trying it on, and then a 40-year-old sees it, and they go to Best Buy to buy it, and it's sold out for 6 months, the interest will wane.
But why is the half-life on interest so low when, by doing that, they also generate interest in VR in general? It doesn't have to be the Oculus; it could be the Gear VR, or it
That's
can
not
be,
good for
again, remember-
Oculus.
But remember, all the reports, they indicate that the vast majority of people will try VR first through a smartphone, like a
Okay.
Gear VR, a mobile device. So I think, again, by doing this, they're generating interest in VR in general, not the Oculus, not the Vive, in the entire market. This is just, they're trying to get that push out there because they're playing the 5-year plan. That's my
Okay.
guess.
5-year plan. What is
Here's
this,
a bigger
communism?
problem.
Yeah.
Here- Here's a bigger problem. In the same announcement, they stated that they will have demos set up at 48 Best Buys, right?
Mm.
Okay, the store demo, the closest one is like 2.5 hours from here. But anyways, you can reserve a time slot up to a month in advance
What? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
to demo
crazy.
something at a Best Buy. Like, what? I don't want to reserve a time slot a month in advance?
Yeah, you want to go there and try it, and that's it.
Especially if I have to drive 2.5 hours, I want to walk in, I want to try the damn thing, and I want to go home.
I think they're assholes for
I mean, look at
providing
this.
copies to retail customers before they do pre-orders.
I think, yeah, I agree that it does feel.
It's an insult to people that.
I mean,
pre-ordered it.
I'm the person who was supposed to have his VR device, but now originally, and was pushed back an extra 30 to 45 days. So
And-
I'm the one who's getting shortchanged here.
And it does show some kind of incompetence because HTC managed to ship theirs, and Omar actually
Yeah.
got. Like, I'll be in Vegas on this time next week, but right now I'm in New Jersey. But my HTC Vive pre-order came in. We're setting up another room in Vegas right now, so it'll be waiting for
I
me
am
when I get there.
curious as to what the hell's going on because it's not like Oculus struggles with funding, and they had these pre-orders
for a long
a few
time.
months in
yeah.
advance, right? So why is it? And they must have known. They must have had projections for
Yeah.
interest in production. So what the hell went wrong? And there's been no transparency about that. I don't know what the hell went wrong in the production process that's caused this
So
huge
for some,
delay.
For some context too, an HTC is a much smaller company than Facebook. HTC is worth like $2 billion, right? The whole
Yeah.
company. Whereas a company like Facebook is worth over 250 billion, one of the most valuable companies in the world. And they couldn't deliver on time when HTC, little old HTC from Taiwan, got their shit together. We already have. I
That's
have
the
my
thing,
HTC
too.
Vive.
And don't
Here,
forget,
it
the
works.
Vive has more parts to it too, so it's a more
Yeah.
complicated package.
It came in a giant box actually, because there's so much stuff they put in there.
Booney here said, he kind of criticized Oculus for getting sold to Facebook. When Oculus got sold to Facebook at first, I was worried, but then I felt reassured. I thought, okay, they can deliver this on time. They have
Yeah.
the money, they have the resources, they have giant teams behind this to make this happen. And then it just goes to show you that all the money in the world still led to a gigantic fuck up, like Omer said, compared to this smaller company that was able to deliver something that's ahead of the game. It also has the peripherals and it has room tracking, two things that Oculus does not have and will not have upon shipping.
Also,
Um,
by the way, guys, the HTC Vive is infinitely better than the Samsung Gear VR in terms of like capability,
of
fluidity,
course.
comfort, and it just works so much. It's so much more impressive. Like,
I wonder,
yeah.
if I go to order an HTC Vive right now, what will my order date be?
I don't think.
Are they able to push out product regularly, or are they
I think you can pick it up. You can pick it up in Best Buy actually. HTC Vive, I think, real soon. So
Really?
maybe pick it up in the store if you want it. So they were able to be on the ball, and I'm sure that they sold a lot too. And as people said, there's more capability on HTC Vive, and it's really mind blowing compared to the Gear. The Gear VR is so basic and so laggy and looks so meh compared to the Vive. And I think I'll tell you, when you get here, you can try it, and we have another, like, our father's friend is coming too. You can try it. I think he'll enjoy it.
All right. Well,
Much more impressive.
well, when we go on about VR, that means the podcast
That's
is
the
about
end.
to end,
The VR.
and the after show is about to begin. So We'll
I'm
stick
actually
by
about
that
to
theme.
try and order an HTC Vive.
Guys,
and I'm
if anybody
curious.
knows where I can find some VR hentai for HTC Vive, let me know because Altai isn't in Vegas yet, so I get some free time to
Oh,
enjoy.
I'm gonna have to
I'm not kidding.
disinfect it when I
If
get
you
there.
find some VR hentai, let me know. I want to try.
All right, well that's
I
it.
Googled a little
I'm
bit.
closing the podcast, boys.
All right, all right, all
Say
right.
farewell.
Later, guys.
See ya.
We'll
See
keep
ya.
going for the after show for a bit, so stick around.